Hey y'all, it's Rick here with Uncommon Communion. And yes, I am recording another video in lieu of a written post for Wednesday. Oh man, I am tired, y'all. I had to get up at 6:15, or actually get up at 5:15 this morning to get out the door at 6:15. Taught a full day, trained people all day, and I am whooped. So I'm going to keep this short tonight. I appreciate your understanding. I do most definitely hope to have a written post for Thursday. So do check back then. Let's begin as we always begin by recognizing, realizing, celebrating, and affirming that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of the more and each other. So I changed a little bit about what I want to say to you this evening after listening to a Bulwark um, podcast or video. Podcasts and videos kind of are interchangeable these days in a lot of cases, but a Bulwark podcast talking about what is happening with the Epstein, Maxwell, T-Rump files. And you might have seen this tomorrow, the 3rd. It's still Tuesday here, but Wednesday, the 3rd, tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. And I will post a link that will talk about this. There is going to be a press conference on the stairs of Capitol Hill, steps of Capitol Hill. And it is significant. I don't want to dwell too much on the details because I'm hoping that you've already heard about this. But what is so powerful about this is it is a Republican and a Democrat. The Republican is Thomas Massie from northern Kentucky, right across the Ohio River from Cincinnati. And he's the one I sent a thank you note to a few weeks ago, actually, saying, I appreciate that you are doing this. And I do, because y'all giving the victims voice. And apparently 10 or so of the now women who were then girls who were abused, sexually trafficked, horrific things done to them by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. We know both of those. And the big question is, who else, right? Who else? And I don't know what to expect tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to name names. I know today that many of them, maybe all of them, met with the committee in the House of Representatives that is investigating the Epstein files. I put investigating in air quotes because the chair of that, James Comer, is very much slow walking and doing releases, as you might have seen today, of documents that are already in the public view. So he is very much doing a show of seeming like he is investigating, but he's not. He's not. He's slow walking. He's distracting. He is saying he's doing something and he isn't. So today, those victims, tomorrow we'll hear from them publicly. Today, though, they met with the closed door committee. And we do have one report out of that Nancy Mace, she's the one who is kind of a piece of work. I forget what state she's from. She's a Republican, but she is the one that refused to use a bathroom with the trans female congressperson. She got all that news and noise about that. But anyway, it is reported that she left the room where the victims were speaking about their experiences because she was so overcome by emotion and a panic attack because she has been public that she herself is a sexual abuse survivor. So it seems like it's having an impact, and we will see what impact tomorrow has. And I encourage you all to tune in if you can. 10:30 tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a training, but I hope to give at least a bit of an eyeball to this. But I hope you pay attention, and I hope you share this. And I hope you notice, because this is what I'm going to be looking for, is who covers this, right? Is the corporate media going to cover that press conference live? I certainly hope so. But here's the thing, y'all. This is part of why I'm coming on tonight, is that the Bulwark was reporting that the White House is threatening politically, not with violence that we know of, but politically, Republicans in the House who are likely to sign off on this. It's called a discharge petition, right? Which is what these two, a Republican and a Democrat, Massey and Khanna from California, Massey from Kentucky, what they are trying to do. Basically, an end run through a procedure where if they get something like 6 Republicans and all the Democrats to sign it, it will force a vote on the House floor, bypassing Mike Johnson, right? MAGA Mike Johnson. You remember he sent everybody home, all the representatives, because he didn't want this vote. He doesn't want Republicans on the record and an up or down vote about truly releasing the Epstein files. And that is what this discharge petition, I believe it's what it's called, is seeking to do. The White House is threatening those 11 Republicans who are co-sponsors. They've already signed off on this, but it is threatening them that if they do this, if they sign this, that will be a hostile act towards the White House, which again is code for we will try to knock you out in a primary. And we already see that Thomas Massey, apparently $1.5 million has already been spent, or millions of dollars, I don't know the exact number, but money is already being spent in his district on billboards criticizing him for not supporting T-Rump enough. So this is where we are, y'all. Now, you might ask, with all the other things going on in the world, prices going up, Trump's health declining, the war in Gaza continues. There's reporting that, there are plans for ethnic cleansing to create a Riviera. You can't make this stuff up. That and so much more. Why do the Epstein files matter? Well, first and foremost, it's about the victims, y'all. There's documented over 1,000 women, young women, girls mostly, were trafficked by Ghislaine Maxwell, who recently was under suspicious circumstances transferred to a Club Fed prison, right? For saying, oh, Donald Trump, I didn't know the man, but what I do know, he's lovely. All that garbage, right? All those lies, right? This is a woman who's been convicted of perjury twice, not once, but twice. It's all garbage. So we have the victims that we have to hear. We need justice. But in a bigger way, y'all, we also need accountability, right? This has been going on for 25 years, and multiple administrations have seen the names in that file. T-Rump's name we know is in that file because it's been redacted, and we know other names are going to be there as well. A who's who of the rich and powerful white men, right? And that needs to be exposed. We as American people have a right to know who is lying, who is covering up, who is a pedophile, who is a pervert, who is a sick human being that does not deserve to have the power and the influence that they do. And this is, when the files come out, it will expose that. And quite honestly, y'all, this could be a way, because on the other side, on the MAGA sphere, as they call it, there are many people, even in the administration, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, all these folks were pushing for this release, and now they are silent. They are complicit. But there are still influencers out there that want this to happen. And when it does happen, and I do believe that if we continue to push and push and push, our representatives, the media, anyone who will listen, if we continue to do that, I do believe that we know pressure bursts pipes. And if you've seen Donald Trump and his health right now, he looks like he's about to burst, or maybe there's some blood vessels bursting and a stroke that people are speculating that he's had. So we need to put the pressure on. Tomorrow is a big day. Check it out here on Substack. I know pretty much all the people I follow on Substack are going to be there streaming that live. Watch it, share it, and call your people, your representatives, right? If you have a Democrat, call them and tell them to keep pushing on this. If your representative is a Republican, and I know some of my subscribers, Their representative here in Ohio is Jim Jordan. Yeah, that Jim Jordan, right? Who is in a world of controversy and questions about his own role with covering up and turning a blind eye to sexual abuse, systemic sexual abuse at The Ohio State University. But call people like him. Call your senators in a red state, even in Ohio. I'm going to call both senators and say, you need to take a stand for this, because calls matter. They log those, they listen, and calls and pressure does matter. Pushing, pushing, pushing matters. I emphasize pushing because I want to close just with a little bit of a story. I've shared here with Whole Heart Tuesday. That's when the church I go to, we have a little gathering at a lovely local coffee shop, family owned, called the Family Room. And I had the honor and the pleasure of hosting, choosing the topic this evening. We've been typically choosing 4-letter words just to kind of have as a conversation centerpiece. Well, today I kind of shook it up and had 2 4-letter words separated with a slash, push/pull. And I shared with the little gathering that we had to open the discussion that it is not push or pull. It is not push and pull. You read the slash however you want. And we had a really insightful discussion, and we talked about pushing and how we need to push. And it can be hard, certainly, but we have to push politically, nonviolently, with enthusiasm and compassion and force, y'all, force. So I'm going to end, as I often do here, the Serenity Prayer. I'm going to jump into bed and hopefully sleep better than I did last night. I know I'm pretty tired, but I still have 3 more days of training this week, so we'll see how it goes. But I don't have to drive tomorrow, which is nice. All right, y'all, let's say the Serenity Prayer. God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thy will, O God, not ours, be done. All right, y'all, thanks. Check that out tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow night with maybe a video, hopefully some writing as well. Do plan to do that. Blessing and good, be bold, and be well.